Hey everyone, so this is just a review of 11.1. I can simplify rational expressions. So let's look at a couple of the problems we have. You already have these notes, and so just pull them out or just pull a piece of paper and that should be good. Let's start at number 6 because I don't think that we've done that one yet. So basically here's what's going on. I've got the top and I've got the bottom, and I want to figure out, okay, how can I simplify that? So I'm just going to start piece by piece. Let's start with the numbers. Always just start with what you see first. The numbers, great. 6 on top, 3 on the bottom. Can you simplify those? And the answer is, yep, I sure can. So 6 over 3 gives me 2. Then I'm going to go on to my x's. So I look at the top. I've got x to the first on top, and I've got x squared on the bottom. So what happens? The bottom wins by 1. How come? Well, over here, do you see that one set of x's simplifies out? Great, so I've got 1x left on the bottom. Now I'm going to go to my y's, because that comes next. Let's see what happens. I've got a y to the first on the top, y squared on the bottom. So what happens here? The bottom wins by 1 because that one set cancels out. And then last, I look at my z's. Let's see. On the top, I've got 3 z's. On the bottom, I've got 1. So who wins? The top wins by 2 because that one on the bottom cancels out. So I cross my z's so they don't look like 2's. So I've got 2z squared in the top over xy. Those, I like those because they're nice and easy. There's no plus signs. But if you look at this screen, now there are plus signs. So you can no longer just simplify stuff out. So if I look at number 8, this minus right here and this plus, that ruins everything. I can't just simplify out the 4's at the end right there. Can't simplify those. What I have to do is kind of put parentheses around the top, parentheses around the bottom. Okay. If that's the case, now I look at the top and I say 4x minus 4. What can I do with that? Well, do you see a number that you could pull out of everything? Hopefully you say, yep, I could pull out a 4. Exactly, you could. So 4x, if I divide the 4 out of there, what am I left with? X. Then I see a sign, so I write it down. And then the 4 divided out of that 4 leaves me with 1. Don't forget the 1. So really, I just undistributed it. Now I look at the bottom. What could you do there? Hey, look, the same thing. I could pull the 4 out of both, and I would be left with x. I come to a sign, plus 1. Great. Okay, now, these things in the parentheses, can they simplify out? And the answer is no, they can't. Pretend that x was a $100 bill. If x was a $100 bill and I subtracted 1, I would get 99. But if x was a $100 bill and I added 1, that would be 101. Those are not the same, so I can't cancel them out. But there is something else I can cancel. The 4 over the 4 gives me 1. So my final solution in this case, x minus 1 over x plus 1, and I am done. Let's check number 9. Think about what you might want to do there. Pause and see if you can do it by yourself. If you can't, just stick with me and we'll figure it out. All right, y squared minus 64. What do you notice about the number 64 right away? I notice that it's got an 8 in it. So, look, it's a difference of squares. So this one's slightly different because I've got a y squared. I can say y plus 8, y minus 8. Then I've got y plus 8 on the bottom, which this 8 should have been a clue of what was going to happen. So now what can I simplify out? Got it. I can simplify those out. So my answer is, or my final solution after simplifying, y minus 8. Let's see. What else do we have? Let's look at number 13, because that's got a couple things going on. So I can't just cancel out that two, like these two. I cannot. No. I cannot just cancel those out. That would be tragic, and it does not work. So I'm going to look at the top. 2D plus 10. Well, what do you see that goes into both 2D and 10? Right. I see that I can pull a 2 out. So I'm going to pull that 2 out. What's left? D plus 5. Now look at the bottom. I see a D squared and I see a 35. Because there's a D squared and just a number, a constant number at the end, that means I've got two sets of parentheses. So what makes D squared? D and D. And what multiplies to give me 35, but adds to give me -2. So -35, -2. I think 7 and 5. Now, which one has to be the negative? The 7 has to be negative because it's an overall loss of 2. There we go. Oh, and hey, there was a hint on the top. So, does anything simplify out? You bet. I've got 2 over D minus 7. And done. All right, let's go for some more challenging. If you feel like, hey, I've got this down, I'm good, I'm done, then you can stop watching. If you feel like you need some more practice, let's just keep going. All right, next slide. I see 16. All right, so let's look at that. The top, I've got a y squared, and I've got just a plain number at the end. That means it's going to be one of these. So, what multiplies to give me -10 adds to give me +9. Well, because it's a -10, they have to be opposite signs. So, I'm going to go y and y. What multiplies to give me 10 adds to give me 9. I'm going to go 10 and 1. There's a pattern for this. When you see that the middle is 1 away, just try 1 and the number at the end. Okay, now, who has to be positive? The 10 has to be positive, and the 1 has to be negative, because they add to give me +9. All right, so there we go. Now I'm going to look at the bottom. Does the bottom have a y squared? It does not. So it's not going to pull apart into 2 sets of parentheses. It's only going to pull apart into 1. So, let's see. What comes out of 3y and 30? Got it. And I'm left with, oh, surprise! Y plus 10. Does anything cancel out? Yes, the y plus 10 does. Y minus 1 all over 3. All right. I'm going to pause. Why don't you try 17 and 18 on your own, and we'll just come back and I'll show you the answers. There they are. Did you get x plus 3 over x plus 4 and a minus 1 over a minus 2? Put a box around that. All right, again, if you feel confident, just keep going on your own. I'm going to look, let's see. Oh, do you see these have numbers out front? So that might be more of a challenge for you. So if you want to stick with me, great. If you don't, that's okay. Again, stop and go back to work. This is just here for a resource. All right, let's look at 19. I've got 4m squared minus 20m. There's no just constant at the end. So therefore, I'm going to look and say, okay, what can I pull out of both? 4m. So I can pull out 4m from both, and then I'm left with m minus 5. On the bottom, I have an m squared and a -5. Ooh, I'm almost positive. Hey, look, there's a hint on the top. M minus 5. Let's see. M, 5, and what multiplies to give me -5, but adds to give me -4? 5 and 1. The 5 has to be negative. The 1 has to be positive. Does anything cancel? Yes. So my final answer is 4m over m plus 1. Oh, my little thing didn't work very well. There it is. Let's see. Number 20. 6x to the third minus 8x. There's no constant at the end, so I'm going to say, what can I pull out of both? 6 and 8. What comes out of 6 and 8? 2. Now, does anything come out of x to the third minus x? Or x to the third and x? Yes, and x. So now I'm left with 3x squared minus 8. Oh, that's kind of ugly. But let's see if that comes out something nice on the bottom. The bottom, 9x to the third minus 12x. What comes out of 9 and 12? 3. What comes out of x to the third and x? X. Don't forget to look to see if a letter comes out as well. So then I'm left with 3x squared minus 4. Did I make a mistake? I did. Do you see the mistake I made? Because sometimes that happens. And then you know what you do? You click the eraser. There it is. So, let's see. What should that have really have been? Should have been 4. Good. So if you're like, Beaver, you confuse me. Sometimes I confuse myself, and that's okay. Then you just pick up and say, oh, darn, made a mistake. Erase it. Keep going. There, what cancels? This cancels. And something else. The x and the x. So all that to say, 2/3. And done. Let's look at 22. That one looks... Yikes. I've got a 5y squared plus 10y minus 40. But you know what? Could I pull 5 out of everything? I could. So let's do that because that will make life easier. So 5 y squared plus 2y, I won't make that mistake I made in the last one, minus 8 over, is there something that comes out of all of these? Yeah, I can pull a 10 out. Y squared minus 3y plus 2. All right. Well, first off, I can simplify these guys right away and get 1 and 2. But now let's look right here, the y squared plus 2y minus 8. I'm still not done with that. So I'm going to put the 1 and the 2 down. And then I'm going to go, all right, y squared, that gives me y and y. And what multiplies to give me negative 8, but adds to give me positive 2, positive 4, and negative 2. And then on the bottom, I'm going to have, I have to do the same down here. So what multiplies to give me positive 2 adds to give me negative 3. Y minus 2 and y minus 1. Okay, do you see anything that cancels out? I do. There it is. So I am left with, on the top, 1. Do I even have to write the 1? I can, but I don't have to. So I'm going to write y plus 4 all over 2 times y minus 1. Once you pull it apart, you do not have to put that 2 back in. There it is. Good little reminder of how to simplify. We had some factoring. We had some just finding a greatest common factor. And then we also just started simplifying. Have a great day.